Hi, this is Terry with Blade FPV, and we're going to be continuing our build today. And just wanted to show you what I'm going to do next. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to just lay out all the components where I want all the components to go. And then I'm going to kind of what I call dry fit. I'm going to mount the components, just to make sure there's space right, make sure that the length of wires that I'm going to be using to connect different electronic devices is going to be a correct length. I won't have a problem with that. And basically, to me, it's just like a sanity check to make sure that I'm not going to run into any problems in the future. So when I start building, the build will actually go really fast because I don't have to worry about board spacing or contact from one piece of metal from a board to another piece of metal from a board, anything like that. So let me go ahead and just lay out the components right now where I want things to go. And again, this can change. Now, if something doesn't fit and I have to rearrange something, I want to know now on how that's going to happen. So, and a good example is that, let's start off with the camera that's going to be mounted up front. I was going to use this camera, this Fox Ear camera, and if you recall that the case was broke, I ordered another case, and the case I received, it was too small for this particular camera, and that's just because I ordered the wrong case. I ordered for one of the other Fox Ear cameras. This is a Fox Ear Predator. I think it's a version 3, so that wouldn't fit. But what I did receive, I think in maybe October's drone drop box, was a Kydex camera, and brand new right out of the box. So I'm going to be using the Kydex camera. So I've already taken a look here, and it's going to fit here with the Brain 3D standard to mini cameras. And this is actually a Kydex Turbo Micro F2 camera here. I think I've used these before. These are, good cameras. I like Kydex cameras. So the camera's going to go there. And of course, I, have the wire for this, and it's plenty long, so I'm not even going to worry about that. Next is going to be the ESC board, and it's going to be a 30 by 30 mount, and it fits on the 30 by 30 screws there. So what I'll have to do is to go in and get the fiber nuts and any type of rubber washers. These come with rubber washers on there for vibration, which is good. So I'll put that there. Should be no problem there. I got that oriented right because I've got motor 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's good. The Omnibus F4 V5. This is the first flight controller I've ever had where it did not have an arrow to indicate what's the front and what's the back of the board. And looking at the paperwork that I've got with it, it doesn't mention it either. So I'm probably going to go look on a YouTube video to find out. And not only will I do that, but I'll actually hook this up to Betaflight. And once I hook up to Betaflight, I'll move the board up and down and around, and I'll know exactly which way, is the front of the board, or if it's upside down. So I really don't know, but I do know that it's going to be a 30 by 30 mount, and it's going to fit right there, one way or the other, right here. Of course, the motors I've got here, and the motors I have are the RDQ 2205 2450s. I've used these before. These are good motors. I'm going to mount those there. Those are going to fit. Plenty of wire linked to my ESC. Not an issue there. Going to use a FlySky XM Plus receiver. Use these a lot. They're not very expensive. They're nice and small. So what I'm going to do is put this in the very back with some adhesive and probably a tie wrap and mount it right in the back. And then for the VTX board, the AKK board that I've got here, I'm going to mount it in the very back here. It's a 20 by 20, and The Source 1 version 3 has a 20 by 20 mounting holes in the back, which is great. I will mount that there, and I will use this antenna extender. I'm going to put it here. I'll probably coil it around so I can use the Source 1 version 3 Brain 3D accessory kit mount here for the antennas. I'm going to be doing that there. And the antennas from the XM Plus is going to come out back here. And I've got some tubing here for that will go in, and the antennas will be actually, it's kind of funny that actually went through the hole. So the antennas will, go out here. And the antennas are short. I think the antennas will come out about this far, which I can actually cut this in half, which is nice. And I'll actually have a spare. So that's the build plan. To do that, I think everything will fit fine. As far as the top, I put my GoPro Session 4 and the Brain 3D mount here, and it will go on there. That fits nice too. Put my battery here, put my power cables. I'm not sure if I want it from the side or the back yet. It's just going to depend. But that's what it's going to look like from a parts perspective. So what I'm going to do next is just start from the bottom and kind of go up. The camera, I know where it's going to go, no problem there. The VTX board, I've used them before. It's a 20 by 20. The spacers, the nuts go under there. It has to be high enough to allow this to go under there. I've done that before with no issue. What usually I have an issue with is spacing and mounting the VTX and the flight controller here. So what I'm going to be doing really kind of off camera is using some fiber nuts here and spacers just to make sure I've got plenty of space, between the board and the frame. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I don't like, any of the middle connected or touching the frame at all. And of course, then I'm going to have to get the right orientation with this, and I may have to, have a video of this if I can't explain it well enough. And if there's something that comes up, I'll make you a video and show you how I proved that this was the right direction. And I'm going to mount that there with spacers enough to make sure I've got clearance from the two boards, and connect those up. One other thing that I have to do also, once I know that every piece of hardware will fit correctly, then I'm going to go through and build like this ribbon cable from the flight controller to the ESC. And with this particular flight controller board, I can use a ribbon cable, plug it in the ESC, cut the end of it off, and actually solder. Or I can build another ribbon cable to connect right into the flight controller. I know this has been a long video, but it's well worth the time and preparation of doing what I'm doing here, because once you're into the build and you've got everything soldered up and connected, and all of a sudden something has to be changed around, or you don't have enough length to it, then that's the headache part. So preparation to me at this stage is really great. So I know this went long. I'm looking already at 10 minutes for this video just to show you where I'm going to put stuff. So the next video, I will actually go ahead and start mounting components and start soldering up the motors. Will be the first thing I'll do. Thanks.